Okie dokie. So this is our yoga session together. We might need extra layers. We might like a cushion. You might like a variety of cushions for different parts of the body. Maybe under the head, maybe underneath the crook of your knees. If you have a bolster, that's what that would be for. But if not, you might want to pop one sort of into the lower back. All these things are movable. Anything you feel that makes it comfy for you or more comfortable for you. If you want to have knees open, soles of the feet together, then you could put a cushion under either side. That might be a nice option. Keep the layers on, have a blanket to hand, because we've got at the beginning and at the end, we've got some relaxation that you will be down on the mat and we will be doing our breathing together. So you might well be a little cold. We will get moving. We will get the blood flowing. We will get stretching. We will get into our poses. So then when you come back down, same thing, you might get a little cooler. So let's come down. I'll come and join you. You're going to come down onto your mat, and however you feel is appropriate for you to lie and get comfortable. So for me, I'm just going to plant my feet, relax my shoulders, relax my head, relax the neck. If you like to stay here with the knees bent, it's a lovely option, but try not to kind of pucker up the chest or overarch your back here. Keep yourself in the idea of maybe movement before you actually settle down. So if it doesn't feel right, pick another pose. So I might pop the soles of my feet together. This is reclining Bandapanasana, just like I mentioned. So you might like some cushions underneath your thighs or underneath the knee area. But wherever you've settled, if it's a legs extended option as well, the relaxation position for you might well be different for somebody else. So just go with the flow. This is your first point of call for how you are feeling. So let yourself have the calmest of starts here. You don't have to force the breathing. We don't have to force a particular pose. You're just going to hold yourself accountable. If something doesn't feel right, then you definitely get to move yourself. If you are feeling confident with how your breathing is going, you just gently progress from there for me. You breathe in and you breathe out. Let the rhythm of the breath just guide you into a deeper sense of calm. As you create that flow for yourself, you let the flow be guided by the mind and the body connection. We want to let the head, the shoulders, and probably the glutes, and then the calves and the heels be points of connection down the back of the body if you have legs extended. But definitely, if you've got that cushion, let your head be a little heavier into it. Let the softness of the arch of the neck help you. And you just breathe into your shoulders. You breathe in and you breathe out. Letting the inhale rise up through the chest. Letting the exhale gently fall away. And being able to be present with how you're feeling is a real key to creating that depth and that layer for yourself. Each and every layer, each and every breath is a chance of a little mini do-over. So as you get more confident, you create more for yourself. You can create more space to breathe into. You create more rhythm where the flow of the breath is really lovely and seamless, just like it would be naturally, but that rhythm has a little extra purpose behind it. So being able to be present for me, to feel the rhythm of the breath, to feel it move through the body is, again, another key skill we want to learn and master for ourselves. If you're able to create deeper versions of your inhale and deeper versions of your exhale, then this is something, again, that we grow into. And you let that breath grow with you. So you grow as you rise. So you let that breath rise up through the body. You let yourself breathe into the chest, breathe into the shoulders, breathe into the upper back, and just be present for yourself with your breath and the movement through the body. As you get a little bit more familiar with how you're feeling, you may have had slight movements through the upper back, slight movements down through the length of the spine, where your body is starting to release for you. It held you and it will continue to hold you in a particular way, because that's just the nature of life, or whatever you've done before you come into this session with me. And here it's our job to be able to find that passage through. So finding that passage through the tightness, finding the passage through to the softness, and then also that softness and the path to kind of a deeper practice for yourself is honing in on the here and now. So being present with how you're feeling, being present with the breath, and being realistic about where you are with that, where you are with the breath connection, where you are with how strong you might want to feel at the end of this class, how open, how flexible, whatever it is that's your goal. Listen to the body, and we just nudge our way through it. We're never going to force. We're just going to go with the flow, and what comes, comes. It comes naturally. We layer up naturally, and we breathe nice and naturally for me. So inhale and exhale are always our point of call, always our place of give and take with the body. So if you can give me more, let's actually try for more of both. Let's try for more depth and more breath that radiates out through the chest, radiates out through the shoulders, pushes your back into the mat. And that's just your inhale. So when you get to the exhale for me, are you able to use some awareness around the torso, around the lower portion? Down into the depths of the pelvis is a brilliant place to have a little extra layer of awareness. What's happening for you through your lower to mid back? Is there any lifting? Is there any coming together, as it were, of this core awareness, which turns into core engagement, which turns into muscle contraction? And again, this turns into that power and strength I was talking about. So being present for whatever is your breath pattern now. Where are you with the inhale? Fuller, stronger, not so much. It's all fine with me. Whatever feels good for you. Little mini challenges as you're presented with them. Go with it, push on through for me, and maybe let's have about 3 or 4 more of this greater awareness. The intensity will come with the awareness, the intensity of that ab contraction, zipping up, finding those lower abdominals, working within your parameters. But when you do have that 3 or 4 of the higher intensity, that deeper connection for me, let's be present and be honest with ourselves about the idea of letting go once more. So we built it up, and then we just let it wash over us. Let that breath rise and fall quite lovely and naturally for me. And just being here, in the here and now, is where we want to be. Calm, soft, open, and just really easy going with our breath. From here, I've just joined you back down on the mat. If you have had your legs bent, you might just simply like to lift up and wiggle the ankles because you've had the flexion. If you would like to have a little knee to chest with a pointed toe or a flexed foot, just to get into a bit of glute stretching, it will actually help you to hollow out the belly and engage the core. This, when you do a side to side, it's Bandapanasana, but it's like a single leg version. If you like Bandapanasana in the sort of classical sense, you can keep the head and shoulders down and hug tight, or a little bit of calm and stronger. But if you want to curl up, you might even go a little lower down. So I've just moved from the knees more so to the ankles to hug in even tighter. Keep your core engaged for me. Keep breathing in and keep breathing out. I do have my head and my shoulders up, so make sure you are engaged through the core, relax through the neck itself, and then I'm very simply going to pop those feet back down, little wiggle at the shoulders, and then we're coming into cow face pose, but here we are in our reclining position. Cross one leg over the other, and if you want to, you gently lift up, and I'm only lifting up just to show you, but you can be somewhere along your shin bone with the head and shoulders down. So again, this is another one to make sure your lower back stays attached to the mat. If you'd like to, we're going to do multiples of them. So give yourself the time to kind of understand what's going on. So I'm going to cross the other leg and just gently lift up. Like I did on the first side, I'm somewhere down the shin bone, but this is a different option. I'm feeling things differently on a second side. Pop the feet down, cross back over to the first side. Are you able to give me a little opening, as it were, of the legs. And for me, that gets more glute activation, more glute stretching, or an awareness that I need to stretch my glutes. And then over I go back again to that second side, same idea. I need to hollow out my belly to support the fact that I would like a little upper body strength as well to help me open those legs. And then do you have a third option that has a curl up for me? So if that's not on the cards for you, do not worry. Remember, relax the neck, relax the shoulders, engage the core, and gently does it, drawing those legs apart from each other. If you would prefer to stay down, head and shoulders on the mat, please do. Remember the core, remember you're hollowing out the belly, remember to breathe. But let's gently release. Maybe have a longer pause as you step and walk to the other side. And then again, go into it calmly, so you do not have to yank anything ever, but definitely not here. Give me it as a gradual progression. Give it to me with a lessening if you'd like, so you ease off the pressure, and then you might gently draw in, and you could breathe into lessen, and then exhale to have a little bit more intensity. Go back to Apanasana, but let's pop the head and shoulders down if you were up there with me. And if you'd like it, have a wide knee option. So maybe you're on the knees themselves, maybe you're somewhere down the shins, maybe you're okay with the position that you've got with the parallel. I've popped a little rock into this, so rock side to side, breathing in and breathing out. From here, all we're going to do is just walk those legs out and gently does it if you've not had them out this way yet. Stretching the hip flexors, very simply, just reach the arms up, let them go over the head, and just give me whatever version of a full body stretch feels good for you. When I come in, big wide circle, I'm just going to curl up, and that's another hip flexor stretch. If you can keep that other leg lovely and straight, relax the shoulders, breathing in, breathing out. Just reach up, come on around for me, swap to the other side, try again to keep the leg down. That straight leg will get a lovely hip flexor stretch if you keep that leg or the heel attached to your mat. On the way through, again, let's have Apanasana, but then let's have a reclining version of this Bandapanasana. So soles of the feet together for me. You might hook on inside and hold, or you might actually hug in. Both options are a nice option. Why not try to connect with the feet a little bit more? And there's a potential that you come through and you actually hold the ankles. So if you would like to, you stay here, and if you've got it in you with the upper body strength and then sort of the length of your arms and flexibility in the hips, pop the elbows inside your knees and hold through the ankles. Breathing in, breathing out. If you can, wrap underneath, and then here, just give me a little rock. This is a reclining version and a double leg version of Happy Baby. So breathing in, breathing out. But you're basically giving me a hip flexor stretch, a hip area, a pelvic area stretch, or maybe even inner thighs. Release it all, and then either come to the side or hands underneath, and just simply you rock on up. Because you've been down there a while, let's just transition nicely. So I'm just walking back just for the camera. Point the toes or flex the feet, and just give me a very soft, gradual slide and glide down towards the ankles or down towards the toes for our seated forward bend. Going with the flow. If it doesn't feel quite right to give me a hold just yet, you do not have to. If you prefer our option where you've got big sweeping arms and diving down, that could be a lovely option. I'm going to stick where I am, and I'm going to hold on the next one. So do let the head and neck go. If there's any availability to draw down, so it isn't a yank, it's a nice softening, perhaps of the elbows, coming down towards your legs in some particular way, because you might have shorter or longer arms than I am. But you're letting the head go as well. Breathing in, breathing out. And then from here, I'm going to try and keep that leg where it was, and then I'm just going to walk out. I'm just going to walk back a little bit as well, just so you can see. But I've got pointed toes for a wide leg option of the same. If you'd like to give me more of an upright posture, You can keep the head and the neck up. If you actually would like to just hold here and pop a little bit of this neck mobilization, because I'm moving my head in a few different sweeping directions here. And then what you might be able to do is lengthen down one side. So if you prefer a flexed foot, but the leg that's left behind, the one you're not reaching to, try not to pop off with that knee. Keep that thigh strong and breathe in. Breathe it out. As we come up, just pop your hands behind. Into the heel of the hands, I just lift up, open our chest and your upper back a little bit as well, before you go ahead and give me the other side. We may not always reach in the same direction. We may have different sensations on side to side, but just go with the flow for me. Breathe it through. And then let's begin to soften through, moving our legs. And then we're going to come into tiger preparation, which just means taking the pressure off our wrist for a moment, coming down onto the forearms, onto the elbows, and it's a lovely version of a calf stretch. So let's plant the hands or make this, whichever you prefer, parallel of arms or parallel of legs as well, whichever kind of all of this that sits well with you. And then simply tuck the toes and gently press away. You might like to come in and press out. What you might also like to do is to give this a leg extension, and you could hold up for me. So you're adding some stretch and release with a lovely bit of core engagement. Breathe in, breathe out. So then I'm going to pop that knee down, tuck the toes of my left leg or your other leg, press out and hold, or again, give me the transitional in and out of this. Breathing in, breathe it out. And the same thing, I'm just going to release and have a pointed toe. Keep your hips facing down for me. Engage the core, relax the shoulders, and hold here with some lovely glute activation. Breathing in, breathing out. When we walk up, come to either, which might be a nice idea to have this. I feel like I'm sometimes elevated, and it also takes the flexion out of your wrist. Come to the box position, same thing. Here, so I'm just going to walk forward so you can see me. Tuck the toes, push back, breathe in, breathe out. You might lift off and come back. So you're actually giving me a half plank here. And then we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to try and minimize any little niggles that might creep into your lower back. Keep those hips facing down and keeping the leg in line with the rest of the spine. Pop that knee down. And again, if you didn't want the fist, you could always make flat hands for me. And then I'm going on the other side. Tuck the toes. And I'm just going to push back. Hopefully you can see I've got a flat back. I've got the power and strength through these hands, the arms, everything's working. Holding that calf stretch. And then I'm just going to tuck through, point the toes, keep the core engaged, and hold firm and steady. Breathing in and breathing out. So we're just going to transition. I'm just going to change my mat positioning. We're going to transition into the same thing, but a downward facing dog. So plant your hands for me, tuck the toes, lift up, and here we're going to press down on one side. So one heel, lovely and deep, nice and strong. Swap sides, and then that leg, you're going to give me a single leg downward facing dog. But you're going to breathe in, breathe out, keep that power and that strength through that leg up in the air, the glute up in the air, the core. Walk it in for me. Swap sides. So press into that opposite heel, or if you do prefer to have both down, just as a little change, you absolutely can. But now I'm going to switch. My right leg is my central leg. My left leg is the one up in the air or just out behind. Breathing in, breathe it out. Lovely, deep, strong breath for me. And then soften everything in. So let's come to our child's pose legs and just give ourselves, maybe just close the eyes and give ourselves a pause for your neck, your head, your chest here to all be part of this. So my head is moving round, my chest and my neck will get the stretch going here. And I will just hold. So I found a tight place for myself, so I'm going to hold it here. You may or may not be the same. I don't have quite the same sensation on the other side. That's normally the way with things. So you may want to go quicker through an area that already feels quite loose, and you might hold on an area that needs a little bit more love and attention. And then from here, we've done it for our ankles and the calves. So now we're just going to do a nice stretch for your wrist area that goes up into your forearms. You don't have to include the thumb. You can do if you want to, but I'm just going to hold my 4 fingers and then just press into the heel. So the heel of the hand, sorry, is pressing outward. But I'm also wanting to do that on the other side. So just breathe into this. Maybe try and open the thumb anyway, because sometimes the thumb sort of flops in if you're not holding onto it. So if you want to hold all those fingers and the thumb, you absolutely can. And then from here, we're just going to come into our flow that has your child's pose and it has the cobra. So this is quite a classic for me. I do like this one often, and I often put myself back into a parallel. So parallel with my legs, my hands are outstretched. Whether you would like to keep outstretched or not, you don't have to. And if you'd like to just have some that comes in and comes out, you might be fine with this option. So I'm sticking my bottom right on down to the heels, but I'm not actually making it to that full or the kneeling cobra as yet. If you like this version with the wider legs and the classic position, it is again another option. If you're trying to keep the head up, it might be a better idea just to start looking down at the mat and finding the actual release through the head. You could pop the hands down, sorry, the elbows down, rise up through Chaturanga Dandasana and give me a little mini version of your cobra. And then you can roll it back down again. So just take your time, breathing in. And when you're ready for it, transition through once more. I'm going down on those elbows again. But I may, because I've still got wide legs, I may not be coming as far forward into this as I might well be able to with a parallel leg. So I'm just going to pull back again, drop down on the elbows, and then this time I'm going to go parallel for legs, plant the heel of the hands a little stronger, and then lift up to stretch. I'm going to put the head and neck mobilization in. I'm going to have a stronger hand span, just to stretch through my wrist. Stretch through the palm of your hand as well. And if you're able to, let's tuck toes behind you. Reposition the hands if need be. And then lift up, walk it in or walk it out and pop yourself into a lovely deep downward facing dog. Let's breathe in. Let's breathe it out. And here for a change, let's step forward lovely and deep. Come into a very deep low squat position. So we'll transition up into your lifted reaching mounting pose. As we come down, let's sit in that chair pose together. So you can sit a little bit deeper, a little bit shallower, but trying to keep those lovely lines from the base of my pelvis, right out the crown of the head, from the tailbone, right out the crown of the head. Maybe you'd like to pop your hands down, so not necessarily holding my knees, but roll the shoulders. Prayer position hands is a brilliant one here. Breathing in, breathing out. If you can stay put with me, I'm just repositioning my feet and making sure I'm in those heels. Because we're here for a little while, you're going to feel it through the thighs. Could you give me a little lower option? Reassess where you'd like the hands to be, because it's deep for the legs and you're staying here. Let's hold maybe a calm version of prayer position hands. If you're able to, just sweep round, pull in. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, exhale. We're going to do this about 3 or 4 more times, depending on if you're going a bit speedier than I am. So should we make it? We've got 2 more of these. Out and around, in. Last one. Gently does it. So more than likely, you need a little loosening off there. So we've just challenged the legs. Shall we challenge to have some balance? So we're going to give ourselves that classic tree pose. And whether you'd like to have your back against the wall, because that's lovely and supportive, whether you'd like to have a chair or something else on the same side as the supporting side, that's a brilliant option. Otherwise, freestanding is our final option. bar the different layers for the leg. So let's just start. I'm going to do my left leg as my zipped up. So hard to see with these leggings, but that would be my soft knee. So I'm going to squeeze up, squeeze the glutes, squeeze that thigh, and everything, core on this side as well, pelvic area, lifting it, but simply give me the lowest option, the calmest option. So I want you to try and be able to keep that knee out, keep the openness here of the hip flexors, keep the relaxed shoulders, but why don't we do some nice higher up arms? So this could be you, breathing in, breathing out, staying put up here. If you need to, your hands can always come down to slide up, but let's keep the heel underneath your knee and try not to let it turn in. Keep it out there and just breathe in. When you can, hands come to prayer position and then turn to the front, turn to the side, reach up, come in. Turning, knee to the front, knee to the side. Whoopsie, sorry, I got a little tickle. I got a little something there, so I had to do. So we just do that one more time. So come with me, coming in, coming out, reach up. And then if you've got it in you, there's one more hold and I need to help my leg up here. And I also need to help wedge it in because I've got quite shiny trousers on. So if you'd like to just hold here, it actually, if you hold it in a particular fashion and you're tight, it can actually stretch your chest or your arm. If you can leave it where it is, you can give me any form of arms. So I might change to a V shape. Breathing in, breathing out. And then same is true, maybe help yourself down. Wiggle might be both, but the one that you've been on and doing the support work with. If you have the support, pop it round to the other side or just face away from me. So coming over into that second side. Let's zip up if you can come with me. Glute, where the glute meets the hamstring. Thigh, hip flexor, good posture, relaxed but strong. Just cover the ankle of the straight leg. Get that knee out for me. Let's have a stronger version of prayer position hands. So you're planting all those fingers. You're planting the heel of the hands and you're staying put here for me. Breathing in, breathe it out. If you don't need to go anywhere and you're able to slide up, slide up. If you want to just have a calmer version of the hands and their arms, because we're going to come in and out with the arms and we're going to turn a knee to the front, knee to the side. Just make sure that your heel is staying under your knee, especially if you're turning. Release the heel, then you kind of put the heel back again. Breathe through this last one for me. And then same idea, I'm going to always help myself and wedge it up. Like I said, if you want to hold it there for a moment and kind of reset yourself, then really push in the heel. And again, I quite like a V shape, but relax the shoulders for me. Let's try not to let those shoulder blades creep up or the shoulders themselves into the ears. Breathing in, breathe it out. Help yourself out of that. And again, let's just wiggle it out. If it's helpful to shake out because you are pressing against, shaking out through the wrists, just rolling it through, rolling it in, rolling it out. If you ever need to stretch out the hands, even though you're not on them, but you've been using them, then please do. So from here, what we're going to come into, we've basically just done it. And if you had a chair or support, it might be an in-front option. So if you've got the back of a chair, it might be nice to hold it in front of you, because basically we're going to come into dancer's pose, which in any other session or class together, this might be a thigh stretch, and then it carries on in a yoga class. So I'm going to go to the first side again. So I'm going to have my left leg doing the support, and my right leg is my one holding. So again, apologies because you can't see an awful lot with these black trousers, but my knees are together, my shoulders are relaxed. We should be getting a thigh stretch here where you are. If you are able to hold with your core, let's zip up through the crown of the head. If you would like to, soften that supporting leg and just give me a little mini hinge. This might be you. If you'd like to go in and out in the same fashion, maybe have a soft arm that reaches away, or this soft arm, if it wasn't already holding on, could hold your support. If you feel you don't want a soft knee and you actually want a straight leg, you absolutely can. Breathe in to have a little calm, even though I'm still holding this leg and we're still balancing, but let's exhale to a holding version. Where are you with this hold? Could you push a little deeper of the leg that's up in the air, that foot into your hand? Can you engage the glute and the thigh of the leg where we are standing firm and tall? Let's do it here together for another big, deep inhale, deep exhale, and be kind on your way out. So, again, maybe just opening your chest a little bit is helpful here because you've been holding tension and it might have been creeping up into your shoulders. Hopefully not, but let's go to the other side. So, my right leg, just be mindful what's behind you. If you need to move that support, and I might come on the side, just so I don't kick the wall. So taking hold of the other leg, again, try to have your shoulders stacked with the hips. Let's have a little stronger stance maybe, even if you soften it in a moment, of your supporting leg. Try to open the chest and keep it that way instead of hunching in. Let's pull the shoulder blades down. And maybe you've just got one tiny little hinge that goes back. So you breathe in, knees will come back together or thereabouts. Then as you press away, you might be ready to reach the arm. I didn't do it on that one, but you might be ready to reach the arm away. And you're lifting that back leg potentially a little bit more. I have softened my front knee. I think it kind of came naturally on this side, but I was sort of fighting that idea on the other side. This next one's going to be our holding version. If you're there to have the support, pop your hand onto it, but make sure you're pressing that back foot into that hand. You've got the core zipping up, supporting you. You want to straighten that leg, the supporting leg, let's do it. But let's hold for another big deep breath for me. Inhale, exhale. Out you come, kind again to yourself. And from here, we're just going to lift up and give me a nice open hip. Just because we've been holding in a particular position, and then I'm just going to go back and around, up and down. So I'm just going to go out, up and around, out, up and around. Let's do the other side. So I'm going to go out, up and back. Just stretch it out. So it's a little bit of a hip flexor stretch, and then I lift back. Out you go, up and in. And again, I might just kick out or lift up in front just to loosen things off a little bit. So along those lines of lifting the leg and with a support in mind, it doesn't have to be exact, and I am different every time I do a class, every time I do a session for myself. So this would be hand to big toe pose or some variation of it. Whether you want to swap back to the first side, whether you do need a support, or what a nice option might be, if you had a chair in front of you, have the base of the chair, where as I lift up, I could put the heel on, and that would be my chair. And then if you wanted to fold forward, that might be a slightly different version. But if you're with me for the idea of lifting and taking the legs out, what we can do to start with, to kind of mobilize, touched upon it a second ago, but we can do an alternating version. So you could lift up, if you'd like to just lift up, so I'm just going to come to the side. It could be a lift where you're quite parallel, or lift to actually hug up. And you have a little bit of a oomph to do that. So I'm going to lift into it, pause, lift into it. So again, you can kind of come at it at stages. You can lift and then give yourself a second double height lift, as it were. Are you able to lift and give me some form of extension? If you actually now need the lift down below, you absolutely can. If you just want to hold, so you don't have to pull, you can just hold with your fingertips. That is often a little bit more helpful to give you the extension. Sometimes hanging on to the leg means it doesn't quite want to fully extend. So you could give me low down options. You could give me walking options. You could give me options that are on their own. So they are high, they come out, and you come down. Soft knees potentially on your supporting side. I'm just going to do some face on. Breathe into that lovely strong posture for me. Exhale out. Breathe in when the feet go down. I'm going to keep switching. I quite like this option. Breathe in. Kick it out with the core. Give me a little bit more hold if you can. The actual name of the pose comes into more of a version of a hold. I'm just challenging ourselves to actually open up, challenge the core to hold you, but open up the hip area, pelvic area by doing this side to side. We're going to go with a hold if we can. So lift it, hold it if you'd like, or flexed foot hold for me. Breathe in, breathe it out. Out you come. That was out quick, but go on the other side. So I'm going to lift, I might hold and extend. So here, it might feel like you're being pulled forward and the posture kind of comes out of its ideal, but that's all something to work on. So if you can give me a few of those each side, whether you just reach and you don't want to hold the toes, so you want to stick with pointed instead of flexed feet, I don't mind. Should we do 2 more each side? I'm going to hold and then kick out and just try and lift that leg. There we go. That's one done. So try what it is, what's available to you on that second side. Try to put a little extra hold. We've got 1 more each side. How are you feeling about this one? Hold it a little longer for me. Can you engage the core a little bit more? I've got quite a bent leg on the supporting side, so that's probably my hamstring saying, we're not going to straighten. And here, this side, totally different story. So I'm going to hold it a little longer again. And then out you come. Lovely. So let's just go with a kind of turned out position and just sweep those arms and just bring yourself into a really nice soft positioning. So it's like doing a reaching mountain pose, but with some sweeping arms. Let's go back to a parallel and do the same thing. Just lift the heels, open the arms. When you're ready for it, we're just going to keep the heels down, have the tuck of the pelvis, and now sweep the arms up and then sweep them around. So we'll do some facing as well. We're going to breathe into this, upper back extension, and then breathe out when you start to kind of go back to that upright posture. Tuck your tailbone, look on up to the ceiling, maybe go a bit slower for me, come around. Can we go the other way? So take the arms behind, tuck the pelvis. This time when you come through, give me a chair pose for the parallel arms and soft. So I'll do that on the side as well. From here, arms go back, tuck the pelvis, arms to the ceiling, come down into a lovely deep chair pose for the legs, not so much the arms. Relax, breathe in, exhale. Tuck the tailbone under, engage through the core, release, and gently, let's stay here. Breathe in, breathe out. Take those arms up higher into more of a classic position, and then bring it down and down. So we're going up, down, down. Hold it up there on this next one for me, and be able to come out calmly. So what we're going to try and do is stretch the 2 lower portions of our lower back that kind of hug your spine at the lower back. And we're going to do that by coming up and gently hugging and finding that I've got that opposing stretch. So breathe in as the arm goes up. Gently does it. Twist into it for me. So it's all a variation of a theme. This is a nice extended, but a single arm version of mountain pose that has a little twist element to it. It has that rotational press around. I've got 1 more for you each side. Keep those inner thighs zipping up. Keep zipping up through the pelvis. Let's do that last one. Same lovely big reach, same lovely turn for me. And release. Lovely. So from here, I'm just going to change my mat positioning again. And we're going to come into our goddess pose together. And so this goddess pose is basically wide legs, but we have the toes turned out like a wide plie. So as we're in the latter stages of the class, how are you feeling about the openness of the hips and the inner thighs to get those legs a little wider for me? So we're going to reach up, we're going to breathe in, and we're going to do a very calm slide down. barely there for the legs because we're going to keep challenging them. Breathing out as you come down. Breathing in as you come up. Challenge the connection that we have between the glutes, the hamstrings, and the inner thighs as you start to get a little lower for me. Are you able to press into the heel of the hands, into the heels themselves, and feel that engagement and that really lovely strong activation through your glutes and a deeper version of that through the inner thighs as you get lower. We're challenging the hold coming up here. Let's get those shoulders back, lift the torso a little bit more, but drop on into it and give me whatever you feel is good. Those prayer position hands, calm or strong. Breathe in, breathe out. From here, lift up, turn in, but probably walk out for me. Hands on hips. And just give me a nice flat back of our standing forward bend, but we've got these wide legs. So breathe in, breathe out. Relax down into it for me. Inhale to rise, stack the shoulders, stack the spine. Exhale for me. If you're there for me to let go with the head, the shoulders, the arms, I'm just going to come on the side because it's just a bit easier on my mat when I'm that way. Plant the hands if you want to, or make fists. Go a little wider. See where you are with this. Breathe in. Breathe it out. Let yourself draw down in. If you are able to, from here, turn one toe out fully. Turn the back toe and come into intense stretch. Try not to roll through the legs, roll through the feet, that you're turned out and the arch is too prominent for me. So breathe in, breathe out. Back through the midline. Stay and pause. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's go around to your other side. Turn into it for me. Turn a little bit for the back toe. Go all the way to the front foot. One hand either side. Let's come round. Walk in lovely and tight. All the way in. Zip it right up. Prayer position hands. Lovely deep chair pose for me. Pop one elbow into the middle of your legs, of those inner thighs, and just turn on the angle. Breathing in. Get lower in those legs. Other side, you don't have to look up at the elbow. I'm actually a little better off right now today looking straight in front. From here, reach up, reach down, and open up. If you can just do it from here, you can be on the side or in the middle, and reach up. From here, just step to the parallel, roll up, get ready to tuck the tailbone under. Let's have an upper back extension with more of a V-shaped arm. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's go all the way down, onto the floor, hands down, legs start to straighten. If you need to reassess and just pop your fingertips down, breathe in and breathe it out. Standing forward bend for me with a soft knee, with a strong core, whatever is helpful for you to stay put. Are you able to give me that holding arm option? Breathe in, breathe out. Gently soften, gently rise, gently come through. Roll the shoulders and just soften out. Again, just maybe a little walk out for me. What we're going to do now is we're going to come through that downward facing dog. From the back of the mat, we're going to roll down into that downward facing dog we've done already, but we're going to try a cross the body with one knee and more of a kick out on the angle, that 3-leg version. Only the one each side, but right where you are, soften onto the knees. We're going to go down then onto the tummy, up into the cobra, into the child's pose, and then we kind of swing it on round and we'll be into a relaxation. So bear with me, I'll talk you through it. Back of the mat, parallel legs. Roll the shoulders. We're going to breathe in. Reach the arms. Hinge at the hips. Standing forward bend for me into your down hand side, kick that leg right up and out, plant it back down, give myself all fours again, the all fours of the down dog, sorry. Other knee, cross the body, gently lift, kick it out, soften both knees. Here, I'm just going to walk back to get onto my tummy, but you'll probably be fine where you are. Down onto our tummy. Let's wiggle out for a second. Let's loosen it off. Breathe in, breathe it out. Pop your hands either side in a U shape if you would prefer a cobra. If you'd like to come with me for the, for the Sphinx, if you'd like to come with me for cobra, prop the hands by the shoulders, roll the arms, and lift. Here, you might come in and out of the wide or the parallel child's pose. And then again, you could give me Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows go down, forearms go down, and lift up for me. Stretch it out, breathing in, round it through cat for me. Pop the heels down, elbows down, rise up into cobra, tuck toes. Give me one last down dog. Press those 4 points onto your mat. Breathe in. Breathe it out. Soften. Ease yourself to swing round. But if you need it, pop the layers back on. Grab the cushion. If you have a blanket, bring that to your side. And then just gently does it to swing round. And then same, I'm going to come into Apanasana again. So down on my tiptoes. Roll it down, hug it in. I'm going to keep my head and shoulders down. Maybe you're a super tight option for those legs. Maybe you're a touch of the parallel. And I love my little rock, so I'm just going to pop that. Always I kind of gravitate to that. I've got my eyes closed already. And then plant the feet if that's a good next step for you. If your next transition could be soles of the feet together and knees out again. Why not? We've done some of those wider leg movements, those wide leg poses, wide leg standing forward bend. We've done goddess pose. We've worked into those inner thighs. Breathe in and breathe it out. Inhale, exhale. If you're okay with releasing the arms, let's have palms up. Relax into the chest. Relax into the upper portion of the arm. Relax the forearm, relax into those hands for me. If you'd like your next step to actually be moving those legs onward and outward into more of a classic V shape, I'll always move my body in response to that so we're not holding any tension or any undue tension. Wherever you gently settle, let's breathe through the body together. Let's take those inhales, let's take those exhales. And just be present once again. This is you kind of assessing how you think you did. Do you think that you pressed into those heels enough? Do you think you are able to balance with the core? Where are those little places right now that need you to create that calm? I know you've worked. You know you've worked. We've just got to connect the mind to the body to let it all wash out through us. Let the inhale rise and be beautiful and open and lovely and free flowing. Right on into those exhales, which have a lovely, glorious depth to them. Let your body be drawn down to the mat. Let the earth beneath you draw you down. Ease yourself through the inhale into the exhale. Let's rise and forward this breath. Let's inhale, exhale. When you're ready for a little bit of something, could be a full body stretch, it could be any little something that means that your awareness is back to the physical body. But when you're ready for it, you can come to the side, you can rock and roll front and back, but you come on up. I'm already here in a seated position. If you'd actually like to sit for a change in Bandapanasana, then I might hold my toes and just let us have these butterfly wings, and we're gently going to pump those up, pump those legs. If you just want to sit in a classic position for the cross-legged, the easy pose, please do. What I'm going to do is relax the head down, and you might be doing the same. Maybe close the eyes. I'm going to take one side with a hold. I'm just going to simply go to the other side and hold. Come down the midline again for me. Let the head be super heavy. And this time as I rise up, I'm gently pushing the angle. I'm gently pushing back. I'll come down the middle. Other side. And pause once more. Perfect. So if you are able to, maybe just take the feet out a little further in front of you. Have more of a relaxed position. So although I would like you to pop your elbows if you can inside those knees, if you're in this Bandapanasana, just make it softer than you think. And then I'm going to go back to a little rocking, a little pressing. And we've made like a little frog shape with our bodies. And we're just easing ourselves into the end of the session together. Because it's probably a little bit more comfortable. Why don't we come into easy pose if you're not there, just so that you can lift out through the crown of the head. We can inhale together. We'll exhale those hands into our heart center. Just looking down for me, then rise up, breathe in. As my hands come down, they're coming down through my forehead, drawing me down, hands planted in the heart center. Lift your gaze. And I will say thank you very much. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you being here with me. And I look forward to seeing you again here very, very soon. But thank you once again and take care of yourself.